All right, so let's begin in child's pose to get started. And make this child's pose perfectly sweet for you. So you might like to have, we'll do our centering here. So if you feel like it could be beneficial to have a blanket underneath your knees and shins and feet, feel free to do so. You might love the support of a bolster underneath your torso. And if this is uncomfortable for your knees, your low back in any way, then my suggestion would be to lay onto your back. Or if there's some other pose that you prefer to begin your practice with, feel free to make that choice to do what is most meaningful and supportive for yourself. And then if you haven't already, soften your gaze or close your eyes altogether. And begin to tune your awareness inward. Notice your breath. Feel the fullness of your inhale, allowing it to expand you from the inside to the outside. Feeling as each breath reaches all the way to the edges of your skin and softens you from within. And savoring the sweetness of each and every exhale. Noticing particularly the bottom of the breath and how there's a subtle release in the body. Feel a spaciousness of your mind. And how the inhales and exhales, they're unique, distinct, but somehow connected. This continuous thread of life moving in and out of you. And the simple act of observing, feeling the breath can help to downregulate your nervous system and help to open and free up tension in the body while focusing your mind on something else other than the busyness of life, allowing the intellect to rest, grow quiet and contemplative. And so continue to breathe here for the next 10 breaths, give or take. Leave the count to me. Just continue to breathe, feel, and notice. And now that you've had a few moments to feel, to breathe, set an intention for yourself, perhaps a word or several words that will support you on your practice today, inspire you, and nurture you in the direction of your intention. This could be as simple as being present, being here. Perhaps today's practice is about being compassionate and patient with yourself. Try not to get too heady about it or think too much about it. Just see what inherently and naturally is starting to bubble up inside you. Breathing it into life. And then for those of you that have a bolster underneath your torso, just simply set the bolster off to the side. 2 blocks to the front corners of your mat so that everything's easily within reach throughout your practice. And then roll your forehead a little bit to the left and to the right, just creating a little bit of a massage across the front of the forehead. You might allow this little bit of movement to translate all the way through your spine, through the mid back, through the low back. Feeling yourself sway and wave from side to side. And then sway yourself back through to center in the next couple breaths. And walk your hands way over to the right side. You can place your left hand on top of the right, creating length through the left sideways, through the left side body. And then with each breath you breathe, feel your entire left ribs, your left side body expand. Feel it soften as you exhale. And take another sweet, savory breath. Draw it in, expand within. And exhale as you soften. And walk your hands all the way over to the left side, placing your right hand on top of the left. Breathing here for the next 3-4 breaths. Notice if your mind is wandering, and if it is, just know that that's what the mind does. It tries to think, plan, figure it all out. Upon noticing the mind wandering, just simply invite it back to the breath. The breath to carry your mind back into the body, exploring the inner landscapes of your entire being. And then walk your hands all the way back through to center. Stretch your hands forward. Tent the hand, so you'll lift the wrist right up off the mat, creating a little bit of a release through the front of the forearms. Pressing into the pads of the fingers, you might even feel the entire arm lift up off the mat. Feel how this translates not only into the wrist, the arms, but also into the base of the shoulder. Now deepen the breath here and see how the breath affects the pose you're in. And then exhale, release your palms to the mat. Let the next inhale carry you forward into neutral table, stacking your shoulders on top of your hands, your knees underneath your hips. Bring your big toes to touch. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Stretch your hands forward and then lower your elbows to the earth. Pull your chest through your arms and then reach it to the sky into your cow pose. And then as you exhale, curl your lower abdomen in, lower onto the forearms. And then inhale, swoop your heart forward, shoulders drawing back. Move through that a few more times at the cadence of your breath. Moving through this rocking cat-cow. You might even close your eyes or soften your gaze to further your awareness inward. And then the next time you come through back to table, take a moment to pause there. Keeping your big toes to touch, knees hip width apart. Draw your hips over towards your left heel as you stretch your hands forward, little sideways stretch. And then inhale, pull your heart center forward and through into your cow, and then sit over towards your right heel. And then move through that a few more times, arcing through the spine, sitting over towards your heel. working into the outer hip while undulating through the spine, lengthening through the sideways. Notice where you feel, what you feel, where there might be an opportunity to soften, to release tension, and how these movements can nurture space and softness within. Another breath or two here as you even everything out. And then eventually shifting your way back through to neutral table. Ground into your left hand. Inhale, sweep your right hand high up to the sky, look skyward. Then as you exhale, reach your right arm underneath and through, pause and hover. Then inhale, reach your right hand back up to the sky. And exhale, release, reaching underneath and through, pausing, hovering. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out. The bottom of this exhale, thread underneath and through, then rest your shoulder, cheek, and ear onto the earth. Now infuse this shape with breath and feel how the right shoulder blade inflates. Empty it completely and feel your body soften and yield into the earth. Take one more deep breath in and a deeper breath out. Let the next inhale unfurl, reach your right hand back up to the sky. Roll out the wrist, wiggle your fingers a couple times. Then exhale, ground your right palm into the mat. Inhale, float your left hand high, look up, breathe in. Exhale, thread underneath and through, hover. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, reach underneath and through, hover. Last time here, breathe in, top of the breath. Breathe out, gently rest your left shoulder, cheek, and ear onto the mat. Then savor these next 3-4 breaths. Feeling how the breath itself can create an opening, can release tension without any effort at all. And then unravel, send your left hand back up to the sky, sip a breath into the heart, roll out the wrist, wiggle your fingers. Then release your left palm to them. From there, flip your palms around so the ear fingertips are facing your knees. Little bend into the elbows, soften your shoulders away from your ears, and then just simply rock a little bit left and right, almost like you're pedaling your hands the way you would pedal your feet in your dog. Just using a little bit of movement as a gateway to open up the base of the forearms, helping to release tension, release the fascia, the muscles. And then rock a little forward and back. And then from there, sit onto, or curl your toes under, sit onto the heels, flip your palms out, and then create a few little circle rotations here. Then let your thumbs face down, pinkies up, release the top of the feet, and let the forearms face inward. And then just simply start to rock a little left and right. Then with your toes pointed, sit onto your heels, releasing the top of the feet. And once again, roll out the wrists. Move in both directions. And give your hands a good little shake. Open and close the fingers a couple times. Spread them wide. And then press your hands onto the mat. Curl toes under. Press back to downward facing dog. Then use a little bit of movement here to pedal out your feet. Sway out through your hips. And then wiggle your way into stillness. Unlock your knees, unlock your elbows. Then flare your ribs, arc through the spine for a moment. And then round the spine, pull your low belly in and up. Do that a couple more times, little baby cat-cows in your dog. And then undulate till you find somewhere in between in the center where you feel 360-degree support of your spine from your core. Now let the head of your head get heavier, almost like you're spilling, shaking thoughts out of your mind. Increasing length through the back of the neck. Turn your head one time to the right and one time to the left. And then bobble it back to center. Rise high up onto your tiptoes, little stretch through the sole of your feet. Exhale, sink the heels. Do that 2 more times. Rise high up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, sink the heels. This time, rise high up onto the tiptoes, ripple forward into your high plank, big stretch through the base of the forearm. Exhale, press back to down dog. Move through that 2 more times. Inhale, ripple all the way forward. Exhale, shift it all the way back. Third and final time, come forward through, gently place your knees onto the mat. Peek forward beyond the edge of the mat, glide your shoulders back, pause there. Now re-zip hips to ribs, lift your low belly in and up, bend your elbows lower all the way to the mat. Once you arrive, extend your legs as far back as they'll reach, a good hip width apart or even wider. Then draw your low belly in and up, lift your heart, let your head rise last. Exhale, release back down. Pulse that 2 more times, and each time get heavier through the top of the feet. Rise up as you breathe in. Exhale, release all the way down. Third and final time, you might even hover your palms right up off the mat, squeezing your shoulders back. Exhale, release all the way back down. From there, press over the knees through table to down dog. And then once again, do that little baby cat-cow in your down dog till you find your center. Then take a deep breath in. Empty it completely. Send your gaze forward. Step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Land your feet a good hip width apart. Slide your hands up to your shins or thighs. Lift up half rise. Bend your knees a lot. Drape your torso over your thighs, coming into ragdoll. Any arm variation here is welcomed and encouraged. So you could catch opposite elbow, let the back of your hands drip onto the earth. Feel free to sway a little bit from side to side, even bobble out through your head and neck. Now, can you keep the breath flowing effortlessly and fluidly through? Breathing each inhale to reach all the way to the edges of your skin, and each and every exhale to soften you from within. One more big breath in. Big breath out. Release your hands. Draw your low belly in and up, either one vertebra at a time or flat spine. Rise all the way to standing mountain pose. From there, circle and sweep your hands high up to the sky. With a little micro bend into the knees, part your arms wide. Move through that 2 more times, tracing the sun. Open your heart, reach to your fingers. Exhale, part your heart wide, reach all the way to the tips of the fingers. One more time here, breathe in. Breathe out. This time, bottom of the breath, interlace your hands behind your low back and shift your hands to the crest of your left hip. Reach up and out of the crown, draw your right ear to your right shoulder. Stay for a breath in. Breathe it all the way out. Then tilt your head up and back, peek to the upper right corners of the room. Then roll right ear, right shoulder, chin to the chest. Move through that 2 more times. Inhale, roll it open. Exhale, roll it back. Last time here, find the top of the inhale. Bottom of the exhale. Pause there, chin to chest, reach your knuckles towards the earth. Squeeze your shoulders strong onto your back body. Release your hands, look skyward. Inhale, rise all the way tall. Exhale, part your arms wide, reach to your fingers. Interlace your hands behind your low back. This time switch the crest or hands to the crest of your right hip. Telescope up and out of the crown. And then take your left ear to your left shoulder. Now sip a deep breath in until you feel the right side of your neck expand. Exhale it completely. Then tilt your head up and back, look to the upper left corners of the room. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder, chin all the way to the chest. Move through that 2 more times. Inhale to roll it open and back. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder, chin to the chest. Last time here, breathe into the top of the breath. Breathe out, let it empty. Pause here, chin to chest. Reach your knuckles to the earth, shoulders drawing back. And then look to the sky, lift up through the throat. Exhale, chin to chest. 2 more times, inhale, lift up. Exhale, draw chin to chest. Inhale, look up, part your arms wide, circle your hands high up to the sky. Then pause here, catch hold of your left wrist, reach up and over to the right side. Stay for a full breath in. Then roll your left ribs, left shoulders forward. Press more through the left foot. Inhale, rise back through to center, switch out the grip. And then exhale up and over to the left side. Roll your right ribs forward, ground through the right foot. And then inhale, rise all the way back to center. From there, exhale, cactus your arms, shoulders strong onto your back body. Inhale, touch the sky. Little micro bend into your knees, dive off the crest of your hips, fold forward. Inhale to a half rise. And now reach for your blocks, place them underneath your hands and begin to fold a little more actively this time. Very different from our ragdoll with the knees deliberately bent. Here, start to press your upper thigh bones back. Use the blocks to your advantage. Press your fingertips firmly into the surfaces beneath you. Continue to draw your low belly in and up, supporting your low back and spine. Inhale, half rise, look forward, lift up slightly. Exhale, lean forward and fold forward again. 1 more time, breathe in, lengthen. Lean forward, fold forward. Good, take a generous bend into your knees, come to chair pose. Sit your hips low, take your arms wide and high. Then with your exhale breath, sweep your arms straight behind you and imagine your fingertips with 1 day touch, keeping your shoulders integrating onto your back body. Now if your ribs are flaring, knit them slightly back in and then pulse that 2 more times. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sweep your arms back. 1 more time, feel the air between your fingers. Exhale, reach your arms back. Inhale, rise to mountain pose, little bend into your knees. Exhale, dive off the crest of your hips, fold forward. Inhale to a half rise. Exhale, plant your hands this time. Step both feet to the back of the mat, eyes forward, shift forward. Let your knees gently soften to the earth. Lower slow as you can go all the way to the mat, gaze forward rather than under. Inhale for 1 cobra roll, guiding your shoulders onto your back body. Exhale, release back down. Inch your hands a smidgen further back. Rise up, cobra. Option to straighten your arms, float your thighs right up off the mat for upward facing dog. Exhale, press it back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Bigger breath out. Now inhale, float your right leg high up to the sky. Think level hips. Exhale, lift your left heel high. Step your right foot in between your hands. Once you arrive, reach for your blocks or tent your hands. Then take a big breath in. Begin to straighten your right leg just till you feel a little release or love through the back of the right leg. You could even rock onto the base of the right heel. Keep this as active as it is stretchy by aiming your left hip forward, keeping your back heel lifting, while simultaneously lifting up through the pelvic floor, drawing your low belly in and up. Now take this next breath in and feel it widen your shoulder blades. You might even slightly round through the upper back, keeping your low back relatively flat. Exhale, rebend the right knee, look forward, compress the breath away, glide your shoulders back. And now pulse that 2 times. Inhale, tiger stretch. Exhale, low lunge. Good, one more time. Inhale, tiger stretch. Exhale, low lunge. Pause there, ground into your left hand. Inhale, twist, reach your right hand high up to the sky. And as you pause here, check in with what's happening through your right knee. See if you could benefit from the right foot a little wider, or even grounding through your right big toe mound. Take a deeper breath in, extend, reach to the ridges of your fingertips. Exhale, right hand back to the block or to the mat. From there, set the blocks aside, palms to the earth. Inhale, step your right foot back. Gaze forward, glide your shoulders back, option for the knees. Slow to lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. You always have choices in these transitions. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Choose your path, your way. Notice how you feel. Feel as a breath moves in. Hear the echo of your intention as it breathes out. Inhale, float your left leg skyward. Exhale, lift your back heel, step your left foot in between your hands. Reach for your blocks or tent your hands. Inhale, begin your tiger stretch. Feel it. Take your time here. Integrate as much strength as there is stretch. Take a deep breath in, puff up through the upper back. Exhale, rebend your left knee, glide your shoulders back, peek forward. And now pulse that 2 times. Inhale for your tiger stretch. Exhale, bend your left knee. One last time, feel the fullness of the inhale. Feel the depth of the exhale. Good, pause there, ground into your right hand. Inhale, reach your left hand high up to the sky. And then again, check in with your left knee, your left foot. What could you benefit from here? Send your awareness to the space right behind your heart center and then aim it skyward. Exhale, left hand back to the mat. From there, plant your hands, step your left foot back to high plank. Eyes forward, shift forward. Slow to lower, option for the knees. Point your toes, lift your heart, cobra or up dog. Exhale, flow your way back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Feel the breath empty. 2 more breaths, just like that. And then in a moment, we'll flow through that breath to movement. Slightly shortened variation. Take a breath in to reset. A breath out to reunite. And then let's flow together. Inhale, reach your right leg skyward. Exhale, step your right foot through. Inhale, 1 tiger stretch. Exhale, rebend your knee. Inhale, twist, reach your right hand high. Exhale, right hand to the mat. Inhale, high plank. Here's where you get to choose your path to downward facing. Feel your heart lift, shoulders drawing back, cobra or up dog. Exhale, flow your way back to down dog. Take a breath in. Feel it empty. And then flow again. Inhale, reach your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot through. Inhale, 1 tiger stretch. Exhale, rebend the knee. Inhale, twist, reach your left hand high. Exhale, left hand to the blocks or to the mat. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, slow to lower. Feel your core engage. Inhale, open your heart, point your toes. Exhale, shift your way back to down dog. A good 3 to 5 breaths here. Option for child's pose. If you're coming to child's pose, you might even roll out the wrists, open and close the hands, just freeing up the joint of the wrist. Two more breaths, and then we'll flow through this one last time, using movement as a meditation in motion and a way to catalyze even more heat within the body. Take a breath in to reset. A full breath out to reunite. And then let's flow again. Inhale, reach your right leg skyward. Exhale, step it all the way through. 1 tiger stretch, breathe in. Exhale, rebend the knee. Inhale, twist, reach your right hand high. Exhale, right hand back to the knee. Inhale, high plank, eyes forward, shift forward. Bend the elbows straight back as you lower. Inhale, point your toes, lift your heart. Exhale, shift your way back to down dog. Last time, left side. Inhale, sweep your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot through. Inhale, tiger stretch. Exhale, rebend the knee. Inhale, twist, reach your left hand high. Exhale, left hand back to the mat. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, engage your core as you descend. Inhale, open your heart, extend through the crown. Exhale, back to down dog. Good, a good 5 breaths here. A chance to reset, roll out the wrists, open and close the fingers. Two more breaths here. And then if you're craving more time here in child's, feel free to take it. Otherwise, head on back to down dog and we'll meet up there. Then on your next inhale, float your right leg high up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot through in between your hands. Ensure that your feet are a solid hip width apart, that you're not really on a tightrope, but you're rather on train tracks. And when you're ready, rise up into high lunge, reach your hands skyward. Allow your palms to face inward and notice if there's any arms just kind of hitching a ride. See if you can extend the arms right up, bring the arms alive, and reach all the way to the pads of the fingers. And at the same time, encourage your shoulders to cascade down the back body. And as you breathe here, can you grow a little taller through your crown? Feeling as the shoulders draw away from the ears. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, spin your back heel down, arms wide to the horizon for Virabhadrasana 2. And if you notice that your right knee is moving past your ankle, then I encourage you to elongate the stance or rewind the knee. Lining up heel to heel or heel to arch with your right toes straight ahead and your left toes either slightly pigeon-toed inward or facing the side of the room. And then take a little bend into the elbows so your shoulders can integrate onto the back body. The ribs are flaring, re-zip hips to ribs. Really good. Inhale, flip your right palm skyward, reach up and back, reverse your warrior. And then with your exhale breath, sink a little bit deeper through the right thigh. Take another 2 more breaths here, feeling as each inhale reaches across your right side waist. Exhale back to warrior 2. Inhale, 5-pointed star, pivot to face the long side of your mat, tipping all 10 toes slightly inward, heels slightly out. Then as you pause here, gather your hands to the heart center, look down at your left toes, and you simply tip your left toes towards the corners of your mat. Bend your left knee, aiming your knee in the direction of your left middle toe. Pause here, re-zip hips to ribs, lift up through your shoulders. Grow tall through the crown and let the shoulder blades themselves cascade down the back of the spine. Inhale back through to 5-pointed star, tip all 10 toes in, part the arms wide. And then as you exhale, gather your hands through the heart center, peek down at your right toes, tip them to the corners of the mat. Then simply bend your right knee a little or a little more, aiming your right knee in the direction of your right toes. Now extend your spine tall, grow tall up and out of the crown, re-zip hips to ribs, and align your shoulders over the hips. Really good. Inhale, rise back up into your 5-star. Exhale, warrior 2 to face the back of the room. And again, here, encourage your shoulders to soften down the back body. Zip your hips to your ribs. Notice where you might be holding tension and invite a sense of ease, less effort so the breath can flow there without any effort at all. Inhale, flip your left palm skyward, reach up and back, reversing your warrior. Letting each exhale be an opportunity to ground back into the left thigh. Each inhale, an opportunity to inflate through the left side waist. Take one more big breath in, feel the space between the ribs. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands to frame your left foot. Inhale, three-legged dog, extend your left toes high up to the sky. Then exhale, step your left foot all the way in between your hands. Now, once you arrive, adjust the feet hip width apart, knee on top of the ankle, and then root to rise up, reach skyward into your high lunge. Spread all the way to the tips of your fingers. Grow tall all the way through your crown. And feel the shoulder blades cascading down the back body. Take another deep breath in until you feel your collarbones widen. Exhale for warrior two. Spin your back heel down, arms wide to the horizon. Now you've been here before. What can you recall from the left side? What will you adjust? How will you create strength in your foundation? Ease for energy to flow. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out again. Inhale, flip your left palm skyward, reach up and back, reverse your warrior. Moving a little more fluidly, exhale back through to warrior two. Push off the left foot, face the side of the room, 5-star. Start with your toes tipped in. Then exhale, hands to the heart center, tip your right toes to the corner of the mat, surfer's lunge. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, surfer's lunge to the left. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, warrior two to the front. Inhale, flip your right palm skyward, reach up and back. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to frame your right foot. Inhale, step the right foot back, eyes forward, shift forward. Option for the knees as you move through chaturanga. You can always head straight back to down dog. Take a little pressure off the wrists and shoulders. Again, you always have choice here. Choose your path your way. Now a moment, we'll flow through that a little more fluidly, beginning on the left side. Inhale, reach your left leg skyward. Exhale, step your left foot through, hip width apart. Inhale, rise up in your time, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse it one time. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, surfer's lunge to the right. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, surfers to the left. Inhale, back to 5-star. Exhale, warrior two to the back. Inhale, reverse it one time. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to frame the right foot. Inhale, 3-legged dog, send your right leg high. Exhale, step it right back through. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Exhale for warrior two. Inhale, reverse it one time. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, surfers to the left. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, surfers to the right. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, warrior two to the front. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel your hands. Inhale, 3-legged dog, send your left leg high. Exhale, I meant chaturanga, but you get it. Lowering through chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog, point your toes, open your heart. And then exhale back to down dog. Take the next 5 breaths to reset, to reunite, to recalibrate. Roll out your wrists, wiggle your fingers. All right, and if you want to spend a little more time in child's pose, feel free to take it. Otherwise, head on back to down dog. From down dog, send your right leg high up to the sky. Open the hip here. Step your right hip on top of the left. Point your right toes to the left fingers and even peek underneath your left arm. See if you can catch a glimpse of the toes. Cinch up through the core, then inch your right knee a smidgen higher. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, power plank, right knee to your left tricep, activating your core. Inhale, extend back. Take right knee to right tricep. Extend it back. And now exhale, step your right foot all the way through. From there, spin your back heel down, rise up into your high lunge, reach your hands high up to the sky. Circle your wrists here a couple times. And with your back heel spun to the mat, as you aim your left hip forward, notice how this feels in your hip. Notice how this feels in your knee as well as your low back. And if there's any torque to the knee, any compression in the low back, think of taking the left foot a little wider and your left toes more forward. Then reach all the way to the tips of your fingers. Look up, open across your heart. Exhale, interlace hands behind your low back. Look up skyward, roll your shoulders back. With your arms bound, gently fold forward to the inside of the right thigh. Now, if you love this bind, keep everything as it is. Otherwise, you could keep your hands interlaced, rest the knuckles onto your sacrum, and then flutter your elbows skyward into a butterfly bind. Continue to press to the outer edge of the left foot while pressing through the right big toe mount. Bend into the right knee just a smidgen further. Good. Inhale, release, rise all the way up. Reach your hands high up to the sky. Exhale, gather your hands through to your hips. Spin your back heel high, lift up through the heart, draw your low belly in and up, and then teeter partway forward. With one or multiple steps, lift your left foot high up to the sky. Take a moment to pause here. Once you feel yourself center and balance, option to lift the left heel higher to teeter further forward. Option to fly your arms straight back or forward. Indulge here for another 2 to 3 more breaths. Then on your next inhale, step both feet top of the mat, mountain pose, feet together. Exhale, gather your hands to your heart center, bend your knees, sit your hips low. Steady your gaze, ground into the left foot, lift your right leg skyward, and cross your right ankle over the left thigh to create a release through the right hip. Now you can stay more upright, you could sit lower, you could even teeter forward and fly. Two more breaths, wherever you're at, feel free to touch down. Inhale, rise up, reach up, draw your right knee in and up. Then with one sweeping motion, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Inhale for high lunge. Pause here, sweep your left arm straight back, right arm forward in a vertical twist. Send a little more fire through the right thigh, press it skyward, and a little more energy through your left big toe mound. Then bring your left hand to the low back, right hand high up to the sky for exalted warrior. Now breathe a deep breath in, feel your right ribs, right side waist expand. Exhale, spin the back heel down, arms to the horizon for Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, push off the left foot, 5-pointed star, reach your hands skyward. Exhale, hands to the hips. Little bend into your knees, open your chest, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, dive off the crest of your hips. Release your hands to the earth. Then walk your hands way far forward and off your mat. You might even touch your neighbor's mat. Let your ribs flare and your chest melt back towards the thighs. Let the crown of the head get heavy. A little variation on a wide angle downward facing dog. A chance to open the chest, the shoulders, decompress the spine while opening and releasing the hamstrings. Turn your head one time to the right, one time to the left. Bobble it back to center. Then keep your legs as they are. Start to walk your hands back in between your feet. You might line up fingertips with toes. Bend your elbows, draw your chest through your arms. And if you notice your elbows flaring left and right, squeeze them together. Think 90-degree angles, almost like you were holding a beach ball between your elbows. Really good. Now continue to press your upper thigh bones back. Aim your tail way high up to the sky. Good, rise up onto your fingertips. Pivot on your heels to ball 10 toes slightly to the right side. Bend your right knee, coming back into your surfer's lunge. This might feel a little different as we come into it from the earth. Pulse in and out, wake up the hip, free up the low back. And then pause where you feel a generous amount of sensation, but equal amounts stretch and strength. The option is there for you to keep your fingertips onto the earth or fly your arms wide, coming into this variation of Skandasana. Good, release your hands to the earth, pivot on your heels to ball 10 toes to the left, pulse in and out of the left thigh a couple times, waking up the inner groin, the outer hip. And then pause there with the left knee in the direction of your left middle toe. Option is stay up onto your fingertips, fly your arms wide, feeling this interplay of stretch and strength, this cultivation of balance, of quality we call sattva. Good, release both hands to the mat. Aim your toes in, heels out. And then shorten the stance by spinning your heels in, toes out, bend your knees, rise up into temple, cactusing your arms. Now again, here, can you do a little cat-cow in your temple pose? Then find the balance where there's equal parts length and strength in the low back, equal parts length through the abdomen and strength. Same for the side body. Rock a little left and right. Rock to center, sit 3 inches lower. Lift the corners of the mouth towards your ears. Good, rise up, 5-star, reach up, shake out the hips. Exhale, gather the hands to the hips. Point your right toes slightly in, left toes to the front of the room. See how this feels. If you're craving a little more length, feel free to elongate the stance. If you're craving a little more stability, think of shortening it. Then wherever you've chosen, flip your left palm skyward, reach up and back. Then shift the hips back, reach forward, tick-tock the arms to 6 and 12 o'clock. Option for a block underneath your left hand to the inside or outside of the left foot. Now, can you send your hips a little more towards the wall and lean the upper body back? Yeah. Let your right thumb reach right above your right ear as you draw the right shoulder blade back, pressing firm into the outer edge of your right foot. One more inhale and another exhale. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Bend your left knee, rest your left elbow onto the left thigh for a moment. Then re-extend your right hand high. Option to wrap the arm behind you, coming into a half bind. There's the option as well for the full bind if you wish to reach your left arm underneath and through. Now, once you have the bind, chances are your torso has started to come forward. So see if you can draw your left hip back, lean the upper body back, rolling open through the shoulder. Another breath in, another breath out. Then slowly begin to unwind your bind. Bring your right hand to your hip, toe crawl your back foot in. Then look just beyond your left pinky toe and either reach for a block or the mat and lift your right foot high up to the sky. The option is there as well for Chapasana if you wish to draw your right heel to the buttock, little opening through the quadricep. Now, if the foot doesn't come easily within reach, don't worry about it. Wait for it another day. Or play with the active variation of just drawing the heel to the buttock that will naturally lengthen the quadricep. 2 more breaths in the variation of your choosing. Binds, release. Step your right foot to the back of the mat, rise up, reverse your triangle once again. This time, bend your left knee, cartwheel your hands to frame your left foot. Pause there, lower your right knee to the mat. Then toe crawl your left foot as wide as the edge of the mat. Tip your left toes to say 2 o'clock or 2:30. And then rock your hips a little left and right. And then ground into the right hand, bring your left hand to the inner thigh, gaze up over your left shoulder. Option here to reach your left hand back, go for the quad stretch, drawing your right foot to the buttock, creating a little release through the right quadricep and hip flexor. After all that standing. And then if you've got the back foot, slowly release it, lower forearms either onto the block or to the mat. Keep a slight tonicity of the core, slight lifting through the pelvic floor, drawing your abdomen slightly towards the spine. This will help to keep the opening in the hips, stabilize the low back. Then staying in your lizard lunge, rise up onto your fingertips and just simply gaze forward. I'll give you a quick demo. For release, you have options. You can always press back into down dog. Otherwise, if you're feeling a little playful today, you'll curl your back toes under, float the left leg straight back to meet the right, heel your left hand skyward. You could pause here in your side plank or touch your left foot to the back or behind you, and then rise up into your wild thing. Take your time, choose your path, your way, and we'll all meet back into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a bigger breath out. And then inhale, float your left leg skyward, open your hip, fire hydrant. Peek underneath your right arm, catch a glimpse of your left toes. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Power plank, left knee to right tricep, engage through your core. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, left to left. Inhale, extend back. Step all the way through, lift your back heel, step your left foot in between your hands. Then you spin your right heel to the mat, rise up for warrior one. And then again, your choice as you open through the chest. Notice how this is feeling in your right knee. If there's a torque to the knee, take your right foot a little wider, point your right toes more forward. You might also benefit from a shorter stance to create more stability. And this will hopefully create more space in your pelvis, your spine, so that you can truly open across the heart. And press more to the outer edge of your right foot, more through the big toe mound. Big breath in. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your low back. Inhale, puff and rise through the heart. Exhale, humbled warrior bind of your choice. You could keep the arms as they are. You could place the knuckles onto the low back, elbows to the sky. If you're holding tension through the back of the neck, what would it be like for you to create just a little more space? Now, can you breathe, feel, and be with what is present here? Ensuring that your left toes are straight ahead. Good, inhale, rise up, release your hands, reach all the way to the sky. And then exhale your hands all the way to the hips, spin your back heel skyward. Teeter a little ways forward, pause, lift your abdomen in and up, then with one or multiple steps, lift the back foot up off the mat. Take a good 5 more breaths here. Leave the count to me. So know that you have a little bit of time to explore balance, arm variations. Next, inhale, stand tall, mountain pose, top of the mat, reach your hands skyward, feet together. Exhale, gather your hands through the heart center, bend your knees, steady your gaze. Ground into the right foot, lift your left foot right up off the mat, then cross the left ankle over the right thigh, sit into your seat. Then continue to breathe here, your choice, you can stay more upright. You can teeter forward, even fly. Keep the breath moving. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up, lift your left knee in and up. Then one sweeping motion, step your left foot to the back of the mat. Inhale, back through to your high lunge. Exhale, sweep your right arm back, left hand forward for a vertical twist. Now press more through the left thigh, ground more through the right big toe. Steady the breath, the rest will follow. Bring your right hand to the low back, then begin to stretch and reach your left hand high up to the sky, exalted. Furthering release through the front of your left hip flexor. Keep the breath moving. Breathe in, find the top of the inhale. Breathe out, explore the depth of the exhale. One more inhale here. Exhale, spin your back heel down, arms wide to the horizon for Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, 5-pointed star, tip all 10 toes inward. Exhale, hands to the hips, unlock your knees. Inhale, open across the heart, look up. Exhale, dive off your hips, fold forward. This time, walk your hands straight through to the opposite side of your mat. Spinning your palms around, fingertips reaching away from the toes. Might even tent the hands here. Drag your torso through your arms. Feeling a sense of steadiness, firmness, groundedness through the feet. A slight hugging inward of the inner thighs as your crown descends towards the earth. Now, can you effort 2% less and breathe 10% more? Hearing each breath, hearing the echo of your intention in it, like a little whisper reminding you of words of inspiration, intention. And then walk your hands back through to center. Pivot your little fancy footwork. Tip all 10 toes slightly to the left. Bend in and out of the left knee a couple times, revisiting your surfer's lunge. Then keeping your knee stacked on top of your ankle, place your right hand onto the floor underneath your heart, and then inhale, twist, reach your left hand to the sky. You could reverse it from there. Release both hands to the mat. Pivot all 10 toes to the right. Bend in and out of your right knee a couple times. Then when you're feeling called to explore your twist, ground your left hand into the mat. Reach your right hand skyward. Breathe in until you feel the skin on your body expand. Exhale, release everything back to center. All 10 toes tipped inward, heels spun out. And then shorten your stance. Tip your heels in, tip your toes out, bend your knees. Bring your hands up onto your thighs. Extend your crown away from your hips, and just rock a little from side to side. And even allow your shoulders to shrug up around your ears so that you're fully straightening the arms, creating a little decompression of your spine up and out of your hips. Then layer in a twist. Gaze out over your right shoulder. Let your left shoulder soften forward as you lengthen through the entirety of your left sideways. Inhale your way back through to center. Weave and twist to the left side. And then one more time on either side. Move at your pace, your cadence. Then coming back to center, we'll all meet up here. On your next inhale breath, rise up for 5-pointed star. Exhale, gather your hands to your hips, tip your left toes in, right toes straight ahead. Grounding through your right big toe mound, unlock your right knee. Choose the stance that feels most supportive for you, shorter, wider, or exactly where you are. Then inhale, flip your right palm skyward, reach up and back. Exhale for Trikonasana, reach forward, then tick-tock the arms to 6 and 12 o'clock. Choosing to touch the earth, to clasp the ankle, or maybe place a block underneath the right foot. You always have options. Then whichever variation you're in, think of drawing your right hip a little further back, pressing your left or your hips towards the wall, your left thumb straight above the ear and nose. Feel your upper body leaning slightly back. Big breath in. Bigger breath out. Then release your left hand to your left hip. Bend your right elbow, bring your right elbow to your right thigh. Option here for a half bind, wrapping your left arm behind you. You might love the sensation of right ear to the right shoulder. The option is there for a full bind, reaching your right arm underneath and through. You've always got options here. Keep the breath moving. One more inhale. A full exhale. And then bind, slowly release. Left hand to the hip, again, right elbow to the right thigh, toe curl your back foot in 2-3 times. Then looking beyond your right pinky toe, either reach for the earth or a block and lift your left leg skyward. Explore balance, then explore variations beyond that. What would it be like for you to lift your left heel a little higher? To reach your left toes towards the wall and lean your upper body back, or even play with a bind, drawing your left heel to the buttock. Two more breaths. And if you have a bind, release it. Step your left foot back to the mat. Reverse your triangle once again. Right toes still facing forward. And then exhale, bend your right knee, cartwheel your hands to frame your right foot. Lower your back knee to the mat. Point your right toes to about, or toe curl your right foot to the edge of the mat, then point your right toes to say 230 and rock your hips a little left and right. Then ground into your left hand, bring your right hand to the inner thigh, gaze out over your shoulder, and the option is there again to draw your heel to the buttock, working into the quad stretch. If you've got the back foot, slowly release it. And then we'll all meet with forearms either to the blocks or to the mat. Check in if your right ankle is sickling. Even if the right foot is peeling up off the mat, aim the big toe mound towards the earth. This actually helps to activate the lower leg muscles, helps to stabilize the knee so that the opening is isolated in the outer hip. Now you might also love the sickling of the ankle. It can help to lengthen out the peroneals, the outer shin muscles, but just make sure that there's no tugging, no pulling to the knee whatsoever. Good, rise back up onto your hands. Place your hands a good shoulder width apart. Curl your back toes under, straighten your left leg. Then sweep your right foot back to meet it and choose your path. So you might swivel the feet to the left, reach your right hand skyward, coming into your side plank. You might step the right foot behind you and then open up into your wild thing. And as an added challenge, as you come out of your wild thing, can you revisit your side plank? And then come back to your high plank, pressing back to downward facing dog. You're craving a vinyasa in between, feel free to take it. And then inhale, float your right leg high up to the sky. And settle into pigeon, tucking your right knee behind your right wrist, a little wider than the fleshiest part of your hip. Extending your left leg straight back behind you. Now, this is a great hip opening, but it can sometimes tug on the knee or pull on the low back. So if you're craving another option, you might like a block underneath the hip, a bolster. You might prefer a variation of this pose coming into deer or figure four. And if you're not sure of those variations, feel free to let me know, and I'll come around and make some suggestions. How's for you in this? And are you okay, Francis? Yeah. It's okay? Mm-hmm. Let's put back in just and see how this. Let me know how this feels. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Take a big breath in. Open the mouth wide, wiggle your jaw, and let out a big ah. Do that one more time. Big breath in, open your mouth. Ah. Then rise back up onto your hands. Press back into a three-legged table or a dog. If you want to reflip your dog, you're welcome to. You're craving gate or perhaps half circle Ardha Mandalasana, feel free to take it. Just move in a way that feels like it's a response to the pose, like a request from the body, honoring the inherent intelligence. And the more we move, the more we check in, breathe, and feel, the more we awaken this inner knowing. And so trust that, see what's coming up, respond to that, nurture that. And then inhale, float your left leg high up to the sky. Tuck your left knee behind the left wrist. And settle your way into pigeon. Take what you need. Posture options, props, support. And what you did on the right side might be very different from what the left side needs. So you need to change it up, mix it up. Feel free to do so. And think of, if you're in pigeon, think of leveling the pelvis, almost like you could rest an egg right on the sacrum, insisting that there's no tugging whatsoever to the knee. It's all isolated into the outer buttock, outer thigh. And then slowly rise all the way back up. Press your left foot high up to the sky for a three-legged table or dog, or if there's any other counter movements, poses, take the next 4 or 5 breaths to investigate, to explore. And then in time, we'll all meet up into child's pose. There's no rush whatsoever. So you still are craving a little bit of movement, feel free to take it. And then take your sweet time and begin to transition onto your seat. From seated, bring your feet about hip width apart, knees bent. Lift up through the spine. Reach your hands skyward. Then keeping your left foot grounded, draw your right knee slightly in. Exhale, extend it out, press through the heel. Continue to lift up through the core. And then exhale, tap your right heel to the mat. Inhale, lift it back up. Move through that 4 more times. And lift all the way back up. Release the right foot to the earth. Wrap your arms around your thighs. Give a little bit of a squeeze, decompressing your low back and spine. Then release your hands. Lift up, extend your hands high. Ground into your right foot. Lift your left leg up. Extend out, press through the heel in the big toe mound. And then exhale, lower the heel. Inhale, lift it up. Do that 4 more times. Activating your hip flexor, your abdominals. And then release both feet to the mat, hug the knees in. And then release, lift up, reach your hands high, rock just a little further back, come to the tip of the toes, lift both feet skyward, press through the heel, press through the big toe mound. Big breath in. Slow as you can go, lower all the way to the earth. Once again, hugging your knees to your spine or to your chest, decompressing your spine. And then release your feet to the earth. Cactus your arms wide into a T shape. Just let gravity unravel any tension through the chest and shoulder. Then keeping your knees bent, feet flat onto the floor, align your ankles underneath your knees. Bring your hands alongside your hips. Ground into your feet, lift your hips skyward. Exhale, lower your hips to the earth. Do that 2 more times, not moving into the full range, just kind of bumping the hips up. Exhale, lowering them to the earth. Being mindful of what's translating through your spine, through your low back. Release your hips back down. Then this time, lift your hips skyward, pause where the body naturally yields. Then ground into your big toe mounts to create this slight hugging inward of the inner thighs. Zip up through the spine, draw your low belly. And then press your hips just an inch or two higher. Shimmy your shoulders a little closer together. They'll act as a little prop to extend and lift the chest. Rolling your chest towards your chin away from your chest. Option to interlace your hands, reach your knuckles towards your heels. If you feel any tenderness through the knees, think of toe crawling your feet a little further forward. Now press through the heels, lift your toes. Now release the toes, lift your heels. Release your heels, find evenness through the feet. One more big breath in. Exhale, release everything down. Cactus the arms once again. Notice how you feel. Then let your knees knock slightly inward. You might even rock them a little left and right, just unraveling any residual tension through the spine. And then reach for your block, slide it underneath your seat for the same pose, but experiencing it in a passive way. You can play around with the different height settings of the block you get to choose. Now, can you feel the added length through the spine here with the support of the prop? Take the next 5 to 7 breaths all on your own. You could stay as you are. You could extend the legs forward for a release through the hip flexor. You might like to float the legs high, take some of the pressure out of the feet, tension out of the legs. And if the legs are floating skyward, release them back to the mat. Lift your hips skyward, slide the block out from underneath. And allow your hips to rest a moment or two onto the mat. Then take the soles of your feet together, let your knees fan out to the side, creating this butterfly through the thighs. This little self-adjustment. If you feel any compression in the low back, lift your hips up, draw your tail underneath, re-lengthen the low back, the pelvis, and then set your hips back down. See how that feels. And then extend your arms overhead, elbows to the side, fingertips to touch, creating this little double diamond opening through the chest, through the shoulders. Then return the legs back together. Once again, knees bent, feet flat onto the floor. Toe curl the feet a little wider, let your knees knock in. And bring your hands by your side. Lean a little bit over to the right and tuck your right hand underneath the small of the low back, and then return your hips back to center. See how that feels in the shoulder? The option is there for you to rock again to the left. Slide the right hand a little higher up through the spine, maybe even behind the back of the heart, coming into broken wing. Creating an internal rotation of your right arm and a release to the back of the shoulder. And feel free to play around with that at any point in time. You can rewind it, lower it, you can reach it higher. Encouraging the right side of the neck to release. You might even turn your head to the left. And then turn your head back to center. Unravel your left hand, or right hand rather. Let your right palm face skyward. Notice how this feels. And then lean a little bit to the right. Slide your left hand to the small of the low back. Level the hips once again and just feel this in the body. If that's all the sensation you need, keep it as it is. If you're craving more, then again, rock a little to the right, slide your left hand higher up the spine, maybe even into the low back. And take a few moments to feel, to receive feedback from the body. You can always rewind, slide the hand back to the low back or reach it higher. And the option, of course, is still there for you to turn your head to the right, releasing the left side of your neck. Breathe in, feel your chest expand, the collarbones widen. Breathe out and feel your body soften into the air. And how the gateway for opening comes from breathing, from softening rather than efforting. When you're feeling called to release your left arm, unravel it by your side, let your palm face open, a little counter. And then take your arms wide into a T shape once again. And windshield wipe your legs a little left and right. Move slower than you think you should. And turn the head in the opposite direction of the knees. Letting each inhale carry the legs through center. The exhale to gently, slowly guide you into a twist. Then the next time your legs rock to the right side, settle into a twist. You could stay here in this twist. Windshield wiper twist. If there's a different twist you love, maybe cat pulling its tail, eagle legs, Garuda eggs. Feeling how each inhale naturally lengthens your spine, floods the left rib cage, the left sideways, creating expanse. And how each exhale slightly deepens you into the twist. A few more breaths here. And then making your way onto the opposite side. You want to Move through any poses in between, maybe hugging knees inward or rocking legs again. Feeling as each inhale again lengthens your spine, increases the space between your right ribs. Floods all the way to the heart. Now each exhale deepens you again into the twist in the most subtle of ways. And then finally begin to guide everything back to center. Hug knees to nose, nose to knees. And if you're feeling called to Shavasana, if you're ready to be in this sweet release, start to head on in. If there's any other movements that your body is craving, feel free to take it. If you're craving happy baby, feel free to take it as well. And there's a cool essential oil towel waiting for you at the top right corner of your mat. Feel free to take it. Breathe in the aroma. You might like to unravel it, place it over the throat, the chest, or over the forehead and eyes. And this time is reserved for you to be fully off the hook. And so as you lay back, feel a sense of surrender. Feeling the weight of your legs, your torso, your arms, even the head and neck melting into the surfaces beneath you and the surfaces beneath it. Almost like you're falling through water. As you surrender your body, surrender any thoughts, just let them leave with the same ease in which they arrive. There's no need to control them, fix them, or change the thoughts. Just simply notice them and let them dissipate like little clouds in the sky. Om. Namo. 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 Anjanena. Danaya. Jaya Sitara. Jai Jai Baba Hanuman. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Begin to deepen back into your wiggle your fingers, your toes, and indulge in a great big luxurious stretch. And then from there, hug your knees deep into your chest. Give yourself a great big squeeze. Rock a little left and right. And then in time, roll on all the way onto your side. Cocoon inward and rest cradled in your own embrace. And finally, with the strength of your hands, begin to push the earth away, rise all the way up. Come to seated. Placing your hands onto your heart or into prayer and bow slightly inward. Breathe a breath in. Feel as the breath empties. And take note of how you're feeling in this moment. And then carry with you your intention, any insights from your practice today off the mat into your days ahead as you live through your yoga. Thank you so much for being here, honoring the light within each of you. Namaste.